statue that we are dedicating today is significant. And it will become part of a family of monuments and memorials erected in Ohio.
That's sort of the story behind this statue. Arcata, brilliant idea, 1905, a German immigrant, grateful to live in this country and to enjoy its freedoms and liberties, gets an Armenian immigrant to create this statue that we're going to unveil here shortly. Another person wrote in the local newspaper, this is a cheap tchotchke, and we ought to be tossing it in the trash. Someone else said, William McKinley was a racist to indigenous people. Now, this was not just an attempt to apply the standards of today, but an excuse to advocate an angry and divisive ideology that America is a racist country because our history is filled with racist figures. So it's not only presentism, taking the beliefs of today and applying them to the past, but in this instance, it is not based in fact or reality. Steve writes, the wiry little brown horse with the erect horseman emerged. Somehow McKinley makes it to the unit, orders them to retreat. Their commander, sort of befuddled, says, before we go, can we give them a round? Takes the unit and marches it out of the trees and pours around into the advancing Confederates, decimating their ranks, and then retreats in order. McKinley rides around the Union lines and walks back into the brigade commander's tent, which had been moved behind the lines. His brigade commander turns around and ashen-faced says, I never expected to see you in this life again. His brigade commander, Rutherford B. Hayes, himself a future president, who was willing to give up his life for the cause of ending slavery. How could he be a racist? He moves to Canton, Ohio in 1867, begins to practice law. Some of the names of the people that he met, the Belvins and the Saxtons, you may be familiar with them. 1867, his former brigade commander runs for governor, and he throws himself into the campaign. But he also saves plenty of time for the other thing on the ballot that year that interested him, which was adding to the Ohio Constitution protections for the voting rights of black people. And while he was cheered by the victory of Hayes by a couple of thousand votes in a hotly contested election, he was terribly depressed by the failure of his fellow Ohioans to approve those constitutional amendments. Arcata's laws, frankly, is Canton's game. And I want to thank the Arcata Council for having the wisdom to say, if you want it, you can have it. March up Market Street, bands are playing patriotic music, and people are openly weeping at the sight of reconciliation between North and South. Whether it's the New York Times or the LA Times or the New York Herald Tribune or the Chicago Tribune, the reporters are amazed at the outpouring of sentiment. And they arrive at that simple house no longer there on North Market Street, and McKinley comes out and gives brief remarks, the core of which is, if we shall ever fight again, and God forbid that we shall fight as brothers under a common flag.
Good to see you. Awesome.